y'all. It's your favorite Perky Barista, Juanita Michelle, and I am here at JM Enterprise, where we now take the Broken Entrepreneur podcast. Today is very special for so many reasons, but we'll get to that in a moment. Before we begin, we always want to start with our purpose of being here. The Broken Entrepreneur podcast was created not to celebrate brokenness, but to recognize that it will exist, it can exist, it does exist, but if you do not acknowledge it, you can't fix it. So, we are going to discuss with this entrepreneur, so excited that she's here. We are going to have a discussion with this entrepreneur about who she is, what makes her an entrepreneur, and what challenges she may have faced in her business. This is Chanelle Wilson. And many of you guys may know her because maybe you have had her wonderful service. But for those of you who are not familiar with Chanelle, I'm going to let her take a moment and explain to you what she does. Hi, Chanelle.
Thanks, Juanita.
And thank you for being
I'm
here.
so excited that I invited myself here. Because that's what I did.
Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it when people invite themselves to be here. It's amazing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I'm so excited to be a part of this because I am an entrepreneur accidentally.
Okay.
But primarily, I'm an EPT practitioner.
EPT. What is EPT?
It stands for Emotional Polarity Technique. It is not the pregnancy test. I don't tell anyone they're pregnant, nor do I help them become pregnant. Unless that's their goal.
Okay.
So emotional polarity technique is just a holistic form of emotional health care.
Okay.
So it gets to the root of any brokenness, any unwanted patterns, whatever it is that someone wants to deal with. It gets to the root of it in 60 minutes and then helps you get to the other side with forgiveness statements, new perspectives, and a lot of times help in changing patterns as well.
Okay. So I'm going to have to correct myself because I've been explaining EPT as emotional polarity therapy. So that's what I've been calling
Yep.
it.
And
Okay.
it is a therapeutic process.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be careful with the word therapy, or I have to be careful with it
Okay.
because I'm not a traditional therapist.
Right.
This process is very different than traditional therapy, although it does address the emotional state and help with emotional stress.
Okay. So disclaimer, you guys. I met Chanelle maybe 6 or 7 years ago, easily 6 or 7 years ago, and I first heard of Chanelle from a friend who said that you were helping her to make strides in her life. Because the one thing that people sometimes misunderstand about therapy is that the work really is for you to take. It's your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And she talked about how you really helped her on her journey. But it didn't stop there. So she gave me her number. She gave me the name. And I'm like, yeah. You know. And I didn't move on it. But then I had an opportunity to see you do this EPT technique live on a stage. How was that? Chanelle did a session at the Sister to Sister conference.
Mm-hmm.
How was that?
On the main stage.
Yes.
In front of everyone.
In front of everyone. And
Yes.
it was very emotional for the person who was going through it. It
Yes.
was very emotional for her.
Yes.
How was that for you?
It was really a walk of faith because I didn't know, you don't know what's going to come up in a session. You don't know if someone's going to remember what the root issue is when you pull it up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, okay, God, like you need to orchestrate this because I need to be in this moment with this person and not in my head in front of all these people. And he orchestrated it because the person whose name was drawn was a person who was at my table at an exercise previously.
Oh, wow.
So we had already had a connection.
Okay.
And her name was the one drawn. And so I was really able to be in that moment with her and her story and not there for everyone else.
Good.
It was powerful.
So you said something. I hope you guys picked it up. So you said, okay, God. And long story short, guys, after that session, I started to see Chanelle. And I have been a regular client of Chanelle for years. And she's helped me through some major difficulties in my life. And when you say, okay, God, I want people to understand just how spiritual this practice is and how you really things just kind of line up and help you move forward. How does that all work as far as like the technique and the spirituality? How does that all merge together?
Well, because we are mind, body, and spirit, and EPT addresses all three in a session. So it addresses the mind by we talk about the problem as you know it and you come in and you're aware of what it is in your conscious mind. We address it in the body through the muscle testing, breathing, and saying the statements. And we address the spiritual through forgiveness. So forgiveness in and of itself is a spiritual act. It's not something that is human driven. It is truly the Spirit of God that shows up in forgiveness. Whether someone realizes that's what they're doing or not, you are aligning with the creator of everything around you and saying, okay, this is more important than my own ego.
Okay.
And that's the spiritual piece.
Now, most of my viewers are like, what the heck? You're talking about muscle testing and we're talking about therapy. And therapy is I'm laying down on the couch and I'm giving you all of my juice. But you talked about muscle testing. What does muscle testing mean and how did you learn how to become a practicer? And what does the muscles tell you?
Yeah.
What happens?
Muscle testing is an amazing process. It's kind of like biofeedback where you are asking the body to respond in an immediate way to stimulus. So it's kind of like when someone is stressed and you take their blood pressure and their blood pressure is up because they're in a moment of stress. So I'm using the muscle to let me know where stress is in the body.
So what happens when the body doesn't, is there a time when the body does not respond?
Yeah, that's what when I ask questions, okay, is it this age or is it this organ and this stored emotion? You know, if there is no response, then I know that's not it and I have to keep looking.
Okay.
Until I get a response.
Okay. So, again, my viewers don't know what the heck is going on. Explain to us or explain to our viewers, because I understand the process, but if we were in a session and we're having a conversation, and how do you go from the client having a discussion into the muscle testing, and then how does it proceed?
Yes, okay, so when someone comes in and they start to talk about what's going on, you know, that's the part that looks similar to a traditional therapy session. They're kind of brain dumping everything that's going on. I am listening for what's the pattern in what they're saying. Is it unworthiness? Is it a lack belief? Is it a specific type of relationship? Like, where is the pattern? And so when I figure out what the pattern is with everything they're telling me, I have them think about that. So I'm asking their mind to engage in a very specific focused thought. And then while they're thinking about it, I use the muscles in the arm to respond to my pushing on it to see, okay, does this create a weak muscle? Meaning it is weakening the body, it is a weakening thought, or is the body totally fine with that thought, in which the arm would remain strong.
I just had a memory.
Ooh. Of a session?
I have a memory of a session when you were testing an arm, it just fell on the floor.
Yeah.
Do you remember that memory?
Which one? Oh, do you feel comfortable saying?
Well, I'll just say I wasn't alone.
Oh gosh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Like,
it was
blam.
very obvious.
We were like,
We're like, okay, we know.
we know how you feel. So, I am, again, I have had an opportunity to, and I try to be very transparent with my Broken Entrepreneur podcast viewers. These are my family members. So, since we have worked together, let's see, I had to deal with the declining of my mother's health. I lost my brother, my surviving brother. He passed I've dealt with my son's mental illness and the challenges that as a family we go through. You help guide me through a divorce, and let me rephrase that. You didn't guide me through a divorce because it wasn't like you were pushing me through a divorce. That's not what happened. But you helped me just to clear the fog as I was trying to make the best decision for myself. I'll say that. Dealing with my mom's death and the roller coasters of being an entrepreneur. So, I remember talking to you about my idea of starting a podcast, and this has been very therapeutic for me,
sure.
because I've been able to learn so many things about other entrepreneurs, and they talk about their struggles and their whys, the why they're in it and the why they stay in it, and how they have grown from adversity.
Yes.
So I do appreciate your service because it continues to help me. So I am excited that you're here and that you may be able to help others. Just recently, you've broadened your wings as an entrepreneur. Can you tell us a little bit about what you just stepped out and did?
Yes. So I went from being a solopreneur to inviting more people into the business.
Wow.
Yes. So we have 2 other certified practitioners along with myself, and then 2 interns that are getting their practice hours.
Wow.
Yes. So there's 5 of us total for now.
Okay.
And we've moved out into our own office. We were previously in a chiropractic office, and so now we have our own office, our own branding. And the goal, my big hairy dream is that I help create careers for people where they help people and they don't have to work crazy hours, and they have freedom financially and freedom of their time, and that they give back. So
wow,
that's my hope, is that this is the first step.
So do you have an aspiration of training future technicians?
Yes, and I am a teacher for the EPT Works business. So there's a doctor that created this technique around 30 years ago.
Okay.
And so I teach it once or twice a year. But my goal is to actually help people create businesses out of it as well under this umbrella, and that within the business they not only get to help themselves, but they give back to the community too. So I really want it to be community driven.
I love it. I love it. I do believe that one of the main things that you talked about is the forgiveness piece. And I don't think that people understand how freeing it is to forgive someone. It is, I think, when you harbor anger and resentment and those things, I think it causes cancer.
It 100% does. There's a lot of research on that, actually. A ton.
I think it causes cancer. Get over it. Look, and I'm just going to stay here for a moment and smile. Get over it. It is not healthy. And I ran into a student maybe 2 days, yesterday. Was it yesterday? I ran into an old student. She was like, oh my God, you look like you did when I was in high school. And she's like, how did you do that? And I'm like, I'm not walking around angry.
That's exactly right. You are nothing but light and love.
And people don't get it. I really am only light and love.
And just the right amount of sass.
Just a little, and I will. It's like all rolled up into one. So I love one of the parts of our time together, because we don't only discuss the forgiveness of others, but we talk about the forgiveness of ourselves. That is often the hardest thing to
100%.
do. And I find that as a mother, a lot of times we carry this mama guilt.
Oh, yeah.
And that mama guilt is heavy because our children are quick to tell us what is wrong or how you messed their lives up, or and it was your fault, and it's this and it's that. And to be able to just come to a place where you recognize, I have recognized that I have been mother enough. I am mother enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that unapologetically because as I was rearing my children, I made the best decisions that I could at the time. And I can look back and say, ooh, I wish I had a. But with the tools that I had at the moment, I did the best I could with the tools that I had
Yes.
at the moment.
With the intention of love. And
With
intention matters.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And always thinking that, the best that they could be. And this is going to be a better thing for you, and never doing anything that was going to hurt or hinder.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think you have to be a parent yourself to be able to understand
For sure.
that whole notion,
For sure.
because you really have to carry that little life inside you.
Yes.
To really fully understand that I'm really going to be a protector of you.
Yes.
And a good guy for you.
Yes.
In your life.
Yes.
So, like I said, I have been mother enough, and what I didn't provide for my children, I feel like I set them on a path for them to have for themselves.
Exactly.
Yes. So,
Yep.
mother enough.
We can't break every generational curse and pattern
No, we
ourselves.
can't.
Like
No, we can't.
it has to get better generation by generation. So
Mhm.
it's up to them to carry the torch next.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing that makes me more happy than to see my son, Kendall, with his children. His children are in awe of him. He comes into the room and they're like, oh my God, they just love him, and you can just feel it. And he has a need to be with them. So where he was absent a father, he has done a great job of being a present father, to be a loving father, a correcting father, and a big old teddy bear kind of father.
Yeah.
He's too lenient to me. But we love him in that. And that was a pattern that he broke. He didn't take it for granted because what he didn't have. And,
Right.
he did not repeat that. And I praise God for that. Their mama did raise him right. She did. So, in your new practice, what is one of the best feelings that you have now?
Man, I love making it what I want it to be for the people coming in. So my goal was that it would feel like home, like a home away from home.
Yes, yes.
And that children would want to come and be there and see this as an important and safe place. So
Okay.
setting the office up so there's snacks and a refrigerator to help yourself, and
Yes.
it's just really important to me that everyone feels welcomed, accepted, comfortable, and at home.
I feel that way.
Good.
I do. Before we get too far, there's a couple other things that I want to discuss that also are a part of your practice. This is new to me, guys, because I just underwent this process last week.
Oh yeah.
So happenstance, I had a full physical. I had all this blood work, and I'm just talking about it. And Chanelle says, well, let me see it. And when I let her see my blood work, she was able to read through my test results, and you saw where I was deficient and like a vitamin D, and I needed some calcium. And not only did you suggest supplements that I should take, you talked about a digestive enzyme. What can you tell us about what a digestive enzyme is and how that could help my body?
Yeah, so enzymes are part of every chemical process in our body. Every single thing requires an enzyme to do what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
And so most of our enzymes we have already inside of us, and our body is using them and recycling them and creating them. But we also require them from the foods that we eat. And most of our food sources lack them now.
Because of
not,
how our foods are prepared now.
Yep, processed, prepared, the whole thing.
Okay.
So because we lack necessary enzymes in our food to digest itself, and we are chronically in stress, which lowers our digestive abilities, we over time become deficient, because even though we're eating food, it's simply passing through us. It has to get through the gut wall, get to where it needs to go through those chemical enzyme processes before we actually have the energy and the nutrients from our food. And so that all happens in the gut, and that all happens because of enzymes. And so if our food lacks it, we have to put it back in. And so many things are created by a simple enzyme deficiency.
Really? Like what?
So any dietary or supplement deficiency, not supplement, but vitamin and mineral deficiency. And then when that happens, then you get digestive stress. So any sort of, like acid reflux, irritable bowel, constipation, elimination issues. Then it goes on to immune issues, because enzymes are a huge part of your immune system.
Wow.
Hormone function is the last train on the track as well. So when you've been deficient for a long time, it messes up hormones. So it really is a domino effect that all starts with deficiencies and stress in the digestive system.
Oh, wow. So with the aid of a digestive enzyme, when you take your supplements, is that just giving the body a better chance of absorbing those minerals and those vitamins?
Yes.
Okay.
While lowering the stress it takes to digest it. Because it's a huge process to digest food, especially protein. It takes the longest, and it requires the most energy from the body. Whereas carbohydrates burn up very quickly for energy.
Okay.
And so when you put an enzyme in and you help the body in a pre-digestive way, it lowers the stress and the inflammation going on in the gut, as well as helps you absorb your nutrients.
Wow. Wow.
So
I've had my digestive enzymes for less than a week, and I've tried to be obedient about taking the enzymes before I'm having a meal. Now, I am a snacker, so I'm not taking it all day long, because I recognize, as I was thinking about how I was going to take these, it's like I eat all day. So as I'm eating all day, I'm really focusing on my 3 big meals.
Yep.
Versus saying anytime I'm attacking my mouth, I need to have one. So I'm only doing it for my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's how I got started. So I went through a specific training process through Loomis Institute, Food Institute, out of Logan Chiropractic College, and I started in digestive enzyme work, and then it evolved into what I do now with the emotional work as well.
Really? So that catapulted everything. So it's very interesting that I felt like you were talking to my body when you were dealing with trying to figure out what type of enzyme was going to be best for me, the same way you communicate with my body as when we're going through a regular session. So everything is based on what your muscles are speaking.
Yes, and the muscles are speaking because they're reading frequency. So one of the most amazing and humbling truths is that everything in this world was created out of words, which is sound frequency. So literally everything to its smallest strand, particle, atom is a frequency. This table is actually just frequency. So when I am testing you, I am simply testing how your body is responding to frequency. Is this frequency something that strengthens it, or is this frequency something that weakens it?
So, and it's funny that you say that, because you're like, you're tight.
Yes.
And it's like, so what does that mean? Because my sisters have always said that I was a little stiff.
Oh my gosh, your body was so tense. I was like, relax.
I'm like, I don't know why. I was just, because I'm comfortable with you in your services, so I trust that you're going to do something that's going to be helpful for me.
Yes.
So I don't know why I felt like, but I got it. And you were like, why are you, like, I don't know. What is this? So what does that mean? Like,
Those are your natural defenses.
oh, so I was really defending myself.
Yeah, it was a bottom-up process. Your mind wasn't trying to, but your body was like, "This is unknown. I don't know about this." Like,
I'm like, I told you, I was like, what's that table in here for? It's like, I've always wondered, what do you do with that table? And now I'm laying on the table. It's like, what am I doing here?
What did I say yes to?
But I feel like I have, let's see, I think I have about maybe 8 more weeks, and then I'm going to retest my blood, all the blood work, to see how everything is absorbing. So I'm really excited to see.
Me too.
Like what the changes are, because I'm hoping that the rise of the vitamin D is lowering the cholesterol, and then everything is just going to be like flowing like
That's
harmony.
right.
I'm going to live to like 105. I'm going to look
And
just
look
like
just
this.
like this. That's right.
I'm going to look just like this. It's going to be scary, but it's going to happen. So what is next? I'm excited about you creating this whole force of people who are going to be helping others, because y'all, for those of you who don't subscribe to self-care, it's not about mental health, it's not about therapy, it's really about self-care and you doing what's necessary for self. And I recognize, like, even last year was like a roller coaster, because it was still dealing with the aftermath of losing a parent, the just the dwindling of family ties because of a loss of a parent, dealing with the aftermath of my son and his manic episode, dealing with a bad relationship, dealing with a failing business, a happy business, a sad business, and even victories in all of that. Because in all of that, there were so many victories in 2023. Some really huge victories, even in the close of a coffee house. Still so many victories. But as we're going through all of those things, I celebrate you empowering others to go out and help others, because there's only one you, and everyone can't see you. So we do need to have others who are armed and equipped to be able to help people through this, because it is like fleshing out 10 years of work at one time.
Yes, it is.
And it could be this work isn't for the faint of heart also, guys, because it can be very powerful, because as you're fleshing out these feelings and these emotions, they're usually something that you have tucked away up in that closet over there, and you don't want to deal with it. And now here it is in your face, forcing you to look at it and to explain it, because you ask very direct questions about this thing that I have put in the back of my mind.
Yes.
And, I know my own personal experiences, but, holistically, how are your clients able to process through some of those feelings?
Yeah. I think the thing that separates this technique from many other things, traditional or otherwise, is the absolute importance of personal responsibility in it. So my goal is to shine light on what needs light, because in that light you can clearly see where you can and should take action. And so to answer your question, I think what I hope comes from this, even when the painful things are pulled up, is empowerment for taking action, for self-responsibility, because no one else can make your life better but you.
Right. And it is a path for you to walk.
Yes.
You are there for the journey, but it is a personal path, because I remember us having discussions as I was walking through the decision of shall I stay in my marriage? Do I leave my marriage? The pros and cons of all, because there were so many things. And I still weigh some of those things in my head because, the stability of a family home, my grandchildren understanding you have a G and you have a pawpaw and they're together and, showing that relationship. Even with my children, just being able to stay in a relationship because now you have stability, and this is a good thing. Stability, foundations, those are good things, and it gives you a home to come back to.
Mm-hmm.
And when you abandon that, then you have to figure out, okay, now I have to start and put my bricks down and build up a new foundation.
Yes. Yes.
I've got to put this thing together again.
Right.
And it's like, okay, it's like, well, Juanita, I thought we were finished putting things together, because it's like we were solid, and now your bricks are gone, and now you're restacking, and it's like, ugh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's work.
Yes, it's hard work. It's
yes,
hard
it
work.
is.
But there's always two choices for hard. They're both hard. It's a matter of choosing your hard. And the hope is that you choose your hard based on the outcome that you want.
Yes, yes. So I chose happy. Anyway, so one thing that we always do here at our podcast, we always ask our entrepreneurs for one thing that was a challenge. And of that challenge, how did you get over it? If it was a mountain, how did you go over it? How did you break through it? What was the challenge and how did you overcome it?
I think the challenge for me was that I am an accidental entrepreneur. I started my journey with finishing my training and thinking I was going to do this in a specific office, and then I ended up being let go from said office.
Wow.
And it was devastating. I had just moved out on my own for the first time. I couldn't pay rent. It was a really stressful time. And so, but through it is how I found DPT. So like, I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now if that really hard time hadn't happened.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. So I then went on to figure out, how do I get this to people since I'm not going to be in the office I thought I was going to be in. And I just started offering it, and the people started coming, and then I had to figure out like how to do taxes and have a business account. And so I did it all backwards. By the time I'd been in business for 8 years, I opened a business account.
Wow.
Yeah. I did it all backwards. The tax situation, I remember being like just literally in fetal position crying because I thought there was no way I could dig out of the mess I didn't know I had even gotten myself into.
Taxes are tricky.
Oh, and I mean, I have had to learn how to be an entrepreneur by being 20 steps behind. And so it isn't until fairly recently that I'm like, okay, I think I have a handle on this. And even if I don't, like I know who to go to now. I'm not afraid or embarrassed.
No, don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed.
So I think the whole hurdle is that I'm an accidental entrepreneur. It came out of being let go and necessity. And now I can't imagine doing it any other way.
Oh my goodness.
So.
And how blessed are we because you're an accidental entrepreneur. We are blessed because of that. Yeah. And it is amazing what you do.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell y'all, Juanita don't tell y'all no lies. But her work for me has been life-changing. And it has been so empowering. It's some of the most empowering work that I've done on this side of 50 or 45, whatever.
We'll keep them guessing, because you look like you did when she was in high school.
However old I was.
That's right.
Or am. But I have discovered things about myself. I have discovered just in almost like a little chick breaking out of a shell. You know, like it's like I'm gonna explode, and who knows what Juanita's gonna
I
do?
love that. I love
It
that.
could be scary. Ah!
Mm-mm. Scary good.
Scary good. We're only doing good trouble here.
That's right.
Good trouble. So, Chanelle, if we have someone out in our viewing audience who wants to get in touch with you, who would love to have your services,
Yeah.
how would they get in touch with you?
Well, they would submit an inquiry on our website, which is visitbetterdaycenter.com, and then we will get back to you
That's going to be
usually.
somewhere down there
Awesome.
in
Yes.
the link that I'm
And
going to create.
we'll get back to you within 24 hours,
Okay.
and there'll be someone at the office that will fit your needs and your price point, because our goal is to help everyone that we can with this, because we really do believe it's life-changing, and that's what we are in the business of doing.
Okay. So, what about for my guys? The guys who are out there who don't believe that therapy is for them or don't believe that you can help them. Like what would you suggest for a gentleman?
Well, we do have a gentleman that works in the office,
Okay.
a big burly gentleman
Yes.
who's very good. And with this process, you know, if you don't want to go in and spill your guts and get emotional, you don't really have to, honestly, because the process works whether you do a lot of talking or you let your body do the talking. Beyond that, if you're not ready to take that first step, I would say start evaluating what are the patterns in your life, patterns in relationships that, you know, aren't really working out for you, and take responsibility for them. You know, it's really easy to point the finger at everyone else that's the problem, and while others can play a part in it, like you also are playing a part.
Oh, absolutely.
So look and see where your patterns are that you can take ownership to do something different for life.
Cool. Cool. So, our new practice is called
Better Days Center.
Better Days Center, and you're located in Centerville on Clio Road. So, guys, like Chanelle said, we are going to have her link to her website. So, if you are serious, or even if you're just thinking about it, if you just want to have some information, you can get all of that on the website, because you should make an informed choice. And this may not be for you. But I believe that everyone has a space to grow, to develop, and to change. So don't stay stuck. There is a something for you to help you, to heal you, to move you, and for goodness sakes, work on forgiveness.
Yes,
It causes cancer.
sure does.
It does.
Really does.
It does.
There are statistics out there.
I believe it. I believe it because I have been, when you're angry, your stomach burns. When you're angry, you know, your face, you
Yes.
you just ball your face
You're
up.
ungrateful. And while it
Yes.
causes cancer, it also spreads like cancer.
Yes.
A bad mood spreads faster than anything else.
It does. And you said something very important. You talked about vibrations. And I was talking to a young lady. She's a PR person, and we were having conversations regarding my book, The People's Coffee House, which is also available at thirdperk.biz. So we were having conversations about the coffee table book. And one of the things I was talking to her about having conversations with people, and she said, well, Juanita, it sounds like you're aiming low. She said, and if you aim low, then they're going to be low. She said, if you want to work with someone in their better self, their higher self, then you have to stay in your better self, in your higher self.
Yes.
And it helped me understand how I really want to show up. And it really is a matter of just making your mind up to be that person.
Yes.
And there are some things that I have just decided that I want to do in this life. I want to love hard, and I want to love like I've never been hurt before. I want to smile and laugh and have a good time. I want to dance until my feet hurt. All of those things that make me happy. I want to be surrounded with my family. I want to eat good food. I want to smell the ocean. There's a lot of beautiful things that I would love to do.
Yes.
But the thing that I recognize that it will not happen if I'm harboring those angers and if I'm walking in ungratefulness. Because Third Perk Coffee House and Wine Bar closed in December of last year. But if it hadn't existed in the first place, we wouldn't be sitting here. Like, we wouldn't be sitting here. There's so many wonderful people that I wouldn't have met. So many wonderful experiences. The love that I have been embraced with over the years, none of those things would have existed.
Yeah.
So it's all of that. And it's, so I choose to stay high.
Yes.
And it helps.
Yep.
So.
Take the good with the hard.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The hard makes us better.
It does. I mean, what do we really value in our life that didn't have some sort of struggle with it? Our greatest experiences and achievements usually were born out of some level of struggle.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a hard truth, but it's a truth.
It is a hard truth. And it's okay.
Yes.
It is okay. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for letting me invite myself on and then indulging me.
I don't say no, y'all. I don't say no. And you did have a story to share. And I talk about you all the time.
Aww.
I really do. I talk about you all the time. And when I'm having conversations with my girlfriends, I'm like, you need to go see Chanelle.
You know I love the girlfriends.
Oh, my goodness. It's like, you need to go see Chanelle. And they're like, I'm not ready for that. It's like, well, I don't know what you're waiting for, but
we're all ready for it.
It's like, because this ain't going to get better this way. And I can't treat you, okay? I can't treat you. But is there anything else that you want to share with our viewers? Anything else?
I'll just say that you were wonderfully and fearfully made with a great purpose, and I hope that if there's anything stopping you, you will not stop until you figure out what that is.
Yes. Don't stop. Don't stop, y'all. Don't. Because the other thing that I know for sure is that everything that you need, you already have. Everything you need, you already have. Yep. It's already inside you. So it couldn't be just me. It couldn't be just me. Because I've got it all. It's like, wow, I have everything that I need. It's amazing. We could do this all day.
I would enjoy it.
You'll have to come back.
I would love that.
Yeah, you'll have to come back.
Okay.
Yes. So, until we meet again, y'all, guess what? I'm going to keep on brewing on the good stuff. I'm going to keep vibrating high. I'm going to be right back here with another episode of the Broken Entrepreneur Podcast. And like I said before, I am thankful that Chanelle came by and that she shared her story. And I hope that you guys are encouraged to maybe reach out to her, whether you are a male or female, or if you're fluid.
We accept and love all.
We accept and love all. So give her a call, go to the website, learn more about her. And for those entrepreneurs out there, remember, your solution is out there, okay? Don't give up. Don't give up. Keep on moving forward. As long as you keep your feet moving forward, you're moving, okay? So, and the one thing that I do also want to encourage you guys, sometimes you have to pivot and sometimes you have to shift. You just have to understand the wisdom and knowing when you should do what, okay? But anyway, it is your girl, Juanita Michelle, your favorite perky barista, and Chanelle Wilson. Thank you for being here. We'll see you guys next time right here at JM Enterprise with the Broken Entrepreneur Podcast. Peace.